What is up, guys? Zero8 back with another video, and today I'm going to be finishing up Motorfiesta 2 for the Pagani Huayra BC. I love this event. I love the car, and I'll get into that a little bit later, but a 9-day event, which is pretty long, one of the longer ones out there. Pretty expensive as well, but yeah, it was just a really fun event. The car is amazing to drive, in my opinion. Possibly one of the best, possibly the best I've ever driven in this game. It's got a lot of traction. Oh my. Like, almost as much traction, not quite as the McLaren P1 GTR or like a Koenigsegg 1-to-1. Not quite that amounts of grip. Those cars you can just chuck around however you want around a track, and they're just glued to the track. But this one, if you get it in the racing line and you know your brake points and your racing line really well, you can throw it around hard. And basically, some of the hard goals were some of the goals in stage 8 and 9. People were having a lot of trouble with, especially in my race team. I was talking to people, and I was hearing people say like their performance was, their PR was like 93, and they were 3 seconds slow. And I was like, I was 90.3, so I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have no chance then. I was making a few runs. It took me a couple tries, but eventually, when I figured out the racing line and everything, I did it with time to spare. And I was seeing no one else with, completion with that performance rating. So, I really took my time to figure everything out, but this is the first car I've ever driven in this game that really felt really comfortable for me driving it, and just felt really good driving the car. I've never had a car that quite felt like that. It doesn't have the grip that, a couple of the other cars have, but it just feels really good driving it. And there were a couple events that were really tricky like that, where I had to figure it out, the racing line, and figure out, but then that also helped me realize how hard I could throw it into corners if I knew what I was doing. And there were events, all those events, they made it harder because the one you couldn't skid on, the one you could only skid 3 times. I think it was at Monza, and then another one, there was like 25 cars in elimination with 5 seconds elimination instead of 20. And you could only go off track for 2 seconds. Things like that made it a bit more tricky, but it was still super fun. And obviously that last event was super easy. But I just had a blast with this car, and I'm gonna love driving it. And I think I enjoy having this car a lot more than most other people, just because, I don't know, I just feel really comfortable driving it when I figured out how I could drive it so much more aggressively than I thought. And it does have a lot of traction. 1.77 is a lot, even for a car with this speed. But with 2.1, 0 to 60, or 0 to 100 if you're going by kilometers, and 1.77 grip is really incredible. So if you know how to drive it, it's really an incredible car, and I had a really fun time doing this event. But yeah, it's a little pricey, but I'm willing to pay for it because this car is just great. But yeah, that's basically about it. I talked about the car a lot, didn't really talk about the race at all because it was pretty easy. Whoops, that wasn't just a flashback. But yeah, I really enjoyed this, but that's about it for this video. Thank you for watching, and see you later.